O Allah, guide me among those whom Thou hast guided aright, and preserve me among those whom Thou hast preserved, and befriend me among those whom Thou hast befriended. Bless me in whatsoever Thou dost grant me, and deliver me from the evil of what Thou hast judged. Surely Thou judgest, and none can judge against Thee, and he whom Thou befriendest is not disgraced. Blessed art Thou, O Lord, and exalted be Thee above what they set up besides Thee. I bear witness, nothing deserved to be served besides Thee, and I bear witness that Muhammad is Thy servant and apostle. Amen.
This is Sister Sajdah Muhammad. We are proud to announce that the Sajdah House commemorative Elijah coins are finally here. As we renovate and restore the former home of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, we have recycled the old copper gutters and downspouts and created a 1 ounce 39mm coin made of 100% pure copper. Each coin is professionally graded and has its own barcode and registration number. This priceless heirloom, made from recycled copper from the messenger's home, is now available at sajdahhouse.com.
You belong to yourself. You're an independent people, created from the nation of free people. Yes, sir. You don't need to go nowhere but to yourself. Yes, sir. There will be a great separation. Yes, sir. So I said, it is on now.
The college is meant to prepare you for your future. That the time dictates that if we don't do something for ourselves as a people, we will be destroyed. And the aim of the enemy right now is to take us out.
We have God with us. We have Him as our guide. Yes, sir. We don't have to stand around here and ask the question, what must be done? Yes, sir. And let's go and do something. Yes, sir. We cannot sit down. We cannot lay down. Yes, sir. We must get up. Yes, sir. And go to work.
Do you know what real joy is in life? Visioning something and bringing it into reality. That's real joy. Do you know what the next step in joy is? Behold how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell in unity.
Tonight, you need to fasten your seatbelts. We're going to hear from some of the greatest minds in the world. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of trusting our future and the future of our children into the hands of those who don't love us. I believe we need to revitalize black leadership.
good news on the newspaper page, and love and tradition of the grand design, some people say is even harder to find. Well, then there must be some magic clue inside these gentle walls, 'cause all I see is a tower of dreams, real love bursting out of every scene. We're gonna fill our house with happiness, but we'll smother the blues with tenderness. There's room for you, room for me, for gentle hearts and opportunity. It's the bigger love of the family.
Assalamu alaikum, family. How are you? How's everyone? Peace and blessings. That's what that means for those of you who don't know what that means. So it's not like some foreign thing. We're just simply saying peace and blessings to you. I wanted to come out today to give us a little refresher course on emotional intelligence. And I call this emotional fitness, right? Because emotional intelligence is one of those things that you never get it right. You never get it done. You're going to always be doing something to get yourself in shape. It's like working out, right? No matter what, you still got to get up and move. You still got to work out. You got to increase your mobility. You got to get your blood flowing. The same thing happens for our emotions. I asked Allah to give me a verse to start us off today. And he gave me Surah 62, the congregation, Al-Jumu'ah. And the first verse came right, just flew off the page. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, whatever is in the heavens and whatever is in the earth glorifies Allah, the King, the Holy, the Mighty, the Wise. And that's how I want you to look at your emotions. If it comes to you, if you are feeling a certain kind of way, it all has something to do with either a message that you need to listen to, paying attention to what direction you're being pointed in, but it is all Allah. And so we're going to talk about that a little bit today. I also like the next verse where he says, "He it is who raised among the illiterates a messenger from among themselves, who recite to them his messages and purifies them and teaches them the book and the wisdom, although they were before certainly in manifest error." It's another thing to think about, okay? Without certain wisdom, without a certain baseline of understanding of things, we're flailing around responding to information that is being put out there that has intention attached to it that may not be good for you and I. Okay. I talked on, I think last Thursday on the manifestation series on how we used to have an economy that was based on the gold standard. And then we used to have an economy based on an oil standard. Now we have an economy that really is based on information and is moved, and the ebbs and flow of it are controlled by emotion. That's why now the headline news is, all the warfare that's going on with other countries impacting our election. And they can literally impact our stock market by certain types of information that they put out there. See, our lives just imitate that, because for many, many years, as a people, especially as Black people, but as American people, we've been impacted by information. They tell us that the white man's ice is colder. We believe it, and they believe it. They tell us that we shouldn't live beyond a certain border, especially in the city of Chicago. You can track the systemic racism using real estate and redlining, and they say don't move beyond there, and we believe it and we do it, and the other people believe it and they do it. So the information that's put out here by people who desire to control people's minds in many cases is the basis of the systemic racism. It becomes part of the policies, the procedures, and the processes of the systemic racism that impacts us. And so without some type of standard, without a Holy Quran, without supreme wisdom, without a Bible, without some kind of standard, we're out here flailing. And I would challenge each and every one of us that the best wisdom is wisdom given to us by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad through the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Why do I say that? Because it's very practical. It's information that is given to you that if you and I hold on to it and we use it as part of our operating platform in our lives, you see us get off drugs. You see us looking 20, 30 years younger. You see us making money. You see us being happier, healthier, wealthier in a world where fear is dominant. You see us thriving. So I would challenge anybody. You can be sitting here going, oh, here we go. Let me turn this off. This is one of these Muslim shows. Okay, it is. But I would challenge you that in today's world of information, that you learn to go and get information from wherever you need to go get it from and incorporate that into an operating platform that helps you with a standard on how you conduct your life. And I'm telling you that these principles that we talk about on this show, that you hear us sharing, mental strategies that come up out of these teachings and taking these mental strategies and making them part of our business operating platforms is the key to the success of our economy. Since it's based on information anyway, then you need to be mindful of the quality of information. See, your economy, whether you like it or not, is based on information. You may think it ain't. You're talking about reviews. Somebody put some bad information out there, a review on your business, it will impact your business. You're talking about a commercial. You get opposition that puts a commercial out there that sheds a better light on them. Maybe they don't even say anything about you. That's going to affect your economy. You're in this entertainment world and they start talking about cancel culture. You say something wrong or somebody just decides that they want to put a campaign out against you. It's going to affect your economy. So we live in a information controlled economic system. And so we better be about the business of feeding the right information into our brains so that we're not emotionally responding to information that ain't true or that is designed with a certain intent that does not have our best interest at heart. Okay, so before we do this, I have a video that I want to play. It's about 7 or 8 minutes. It's just going to get us to start thinking about our emotions. And then I'm going to come back and we'll just talk specifically. And if you guys have some questions about emotional intelligence, about something you're dealing with emotionally, an emotional principle, put that in the chat here. When we come back after the video, we'll tackle that. I love teaching courses that are tailored to you. So if you've got questions, I do my best to tune in, but it's better if y'all just tell me. So if you have questions, put them in the chat. Before I go on, I wanted to, again, thank the Final Call newspaper, the founder and publisher, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the editor, Brother Naba Muhammad, and corresponding writer, Brother Tori Muhammad. If you don't have this edition of the Final Call newspaper, get it digitally or get it physically. You'll see this wonderful article among a number of different articles in there on the renovation and restoration of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House. And you see scrolling across the bottom here how you can donate. Many of you are interested in the commemorative coin pendants. Y'all keep DMing me about them. Thank you to Sister Student Captain, National MGT Captain, Sister Naima Muhammad, who purchased a bulk of these coin pendants. So there ain't that many left. So you can keep DMing me, but they're going to be gone by the time you end up buying it if you don't hurry up and get it. And then we have the graded coins available as well. These coins are precious heirlooms because they are made of copper directly from the messenger's home. I can't even, if you think about, I can't fathom it, but think about the energy that has flowed through this copper, and you get to own a piece of it. So in order to get a piece of it, all you have to do is go to sajdahhouse.com. That's to get the commemorative graded coin. Now, if you want the pendant, you got to go on one of my social media pages, click the link in the bio, and there's an actual link for the pendant. So anyway, let's get into this emotional intelligence topic. Those of you who are interested in booking me for a customized emotional intelligence session, click the link in the bio on my social media pages. There's a link there for you to sign up and pay and all of that. But check out this video, and I want your questions in the chat. And remember, what we want to be thinking about is that whatever is in the heavens and whatever is in the earth glorifies Allah, the King, the Holy, the Mighty, the Wise. That's our mindset as we move into checking out.
Most people are living their lives from a heart place and not a head place. They are so engrossed with what the heart feels that they have not covered what the head thinks. Most people are governed by their emotions. They're having a heart experience in a head fight. You will never win a battle if you're having a heart experience in a head fight. Real decisions that move your life along are not coming out of your emotions, they're coming out of your head. Real opportunities that God would open up for you have to come out of your head and not out of your feelings. There are so many people that are so abstract, and they're just moving along from day to day out of their emotions. I don't know, I'm just not feeling it today. And every time you do it, you're canceling out opportunities. A person who does not function out of their head is a person without government. A person who moves totally out of their emotions is exempt from the greater opportunity than life, because you will forfeit what God has given you because of how you feel.
The Bible says in 1 Corinthians, we are unspiritual when we're under the control of ordinary impulses. And that's the way so many people are today. They just let their feelings run their lives. If they feel like getting upset, then they're upset. If they feel like telling somebody off, they just tell them off. They feel like being lazy, they're lazy. They feel like being depressed, then they go around all depressed. But friends, we cannot just act on these emotional impulses and expect to have any kind of victory in our lives. And throughout life, you're going to have plenty of opportunities to lose your temper and say things you regret. You're going to get up some mornings and feel like being depressed, feel like going around in a bad mood. At times you'll get caught in traffic and feel like being impatient, feel like getting upset. See, the feelings are always going to be there. But we've got to learn how to follow wisdom and do what we know is right and not just follow our feelings around. I heard somebody say, I can feel my emotions rising, but I made a decision not to get on board. And that's a good way to look at it. Just because you can feel those emotions doesn't mean you have to get on board. And to be disciplined means to do the right thing when you feel like doing the wrong thing. When you feel like saying something that you know you shouldn't say, no, don't get on board. When somebody offends you and you feel like holding a grudge, discipline that emotion and learn to forgive them anyway. I mean, how many times have we acted on our emotions and said something that we know we shouldn't say, and later on, it ends up hurting us in that relationship? How many people today act on their emotions and they get involved in a relationship outside of their marriage, and later on, it ends up tearing the whole family apart? And the scripture says in Hebrews 12:11, no discipline at the time is pleasant, but later on, it's going to bring you a harvest of great things. And we need to be more concerned about later on than we are just feeling good right now. If you live on that shallow level of just always letting your flesh have its way, and I can tell you later on, you're going to have some major regrets. Because the seeds we sow today, we're going to reap in the future. If you allow yourself to just go around being upset, impatient, and stressed out, later on it's going to catch up to you. Later on it's going to affect your health. If you go around rude and disrespectful, just always speaking your mind, later on you're not going to have any kind of meaningful relationships. If you just are loose in your morals and you just do whatever you feel like doing, well, it may give you some pleasure at the time, but later on, it's going to cost you a very heavy price. If you had a problem with your temper 10 years ago, and you have that same exact problem today, I can tell you that's keeping you from God's best. If you were impatient and easily upset 5 years ago, and you're at that same place today, that's keeping God from increasing you. If you would just do your part and grow up a little bit and quit being ruled by your feelings, quit acting on these emotional impulses. If you do that, that's when God will begin to increase you.
Your brain is divided into two halves, positive and negative, good and evil. It don't function on nothing else. Ain't no neutral ground in your brain. It's either positive and good or negative and evil. Each half of your brain has millions of factory workers on each side. You got 1 million factory workers on the positive side. You got 1 million factory workers on the negative side. At the forefront of each one of those factories in your brain is a foreman. You got foreman positive and you got foreman negative. You are in charge. You're the boss of the factory. Guess what? We are how we think. You can't make a world, but you can make your own world. So now, since your brain is in two halves, let me show you how this works. You wake up in the morning and you say, man, I don't feel myself today. I got up on the wrong side of the bed. I'm not a morning person. Foreman negative hears that. He steps to the front. He said, what did you say? You say, I said I woke up on the wrong side of the bed today. I'm not myself. I'm not a morning person. He says, you got it right away. He said, hey, the boss just woke up and said he's not a morning person. He's having a bad day today, and he ain't feeling himself. Let's get to work. The 1 million factory workers start producing thoughts to justify what you just said. So now guess what? Man, I hate my alarm clock went off this morning. I got to get out here in this traffic. I'm going to drive down here today. I don't even like these people on my job. I can't stand this car I'm finna get in this morning. Sure wish I had a new car, but I'm driving this ragged-ass car. And on and on and on. And your day starts tumbling into what you ordered at the top of the day. You can wake up in the morning and you say, you know what? Today is going to be a great day today. I expect something really good to happen for me today. He said, what did you say? You say, I said I'm having a great day today. I expect something good to happen today. Foreman positive turns around and goes, all right, let me have your attention. Steve's having a great day today. He's expecting some wonderful things to happen. And man, let's get it going. And they start manufacturing thoughts. Same brain. Man, I can't wait to go to work today. It may not be the job I want, but at least I got a job. I'm so grateful I got a car to drive to work today. Hey, man, at least I got a check coming in. I appreciate the fact that I don't have a car, but at least I can walk to the train. Man, this is going to be great today. That's how your mind works 24/7.
You are your emotional boss. You know, some of you all know my story and how I began to study emotional intelligence. And it was born out of the fact that I'm a very sensitive person and I can generally see things and feel things and notice stuff that most people just goes right over their head. But I didn't like that about myself because nobody taught me that I'm my own emotional boss. So as I would feel all of these detailed emotional nuances, I would feel myself being controlled by the actions of other people based on how I would emotionally react to the actions of those people. And I remember when the study guide came out, Rising Above Emotions into the Thinking of God, I was so into it because I just really wanted some relief from my sensitivity. Literally, I just felt like I need some relief. I tried not being emotional. That didn't work. I tried just going overboard with emotional control. That didn't work. And I started to study emotional intelligence. I took 2 certification courses to be a coach, to be a trainer. And it hit me one day. It said, you know what? Is it very possible? And this is what I asked myself. I said, is it very possible that the thing you hate about yourself could be your greatest gift? And I said to myself, well, it's going to have to be, because I've tried everything and I can't make myself not care. I can't make myself not be emotional. I just can't be any other way than myself. And so I started with it going to work. And you know how they talk about faith the size of a mustard seed? I started thinking about details and emotions the size of a mustard seed. And I said, you know what? It's almost like I can see details to a granular level. And so a lot of times when I'm sitting at a boardroom, at a table, in a meeting, I can see things other people don't see. I can hear things other people don't hear. And I said, you know what? This is a gift. And this is probably the key to why I'm not successful in business. And so I started to embrace that gift and allow my emotions to be my compass to tell me whether or not I was on or off. So if I got up in the morning and said, today is going to be a good day, I'm going to solve this problem, I'm going to get steps closer to my goal, whatever I decided, then my emotions would tell me if I'm on the right course or not. I had already learned not to run my mouth about everything I feel. You know, you have those people who are super sensitive and they sit there in a meeting or in any situation and they're always looking for something to say something about. And it's almost like they're making up stuff to say, whether they make up stuff that's negative, they may make up stuff that's positive. They try to act like they're noticing things that ain't even relevant. I had learned to get past that. I wasn't that person. I wasn't chatty Cathy about everything I saw. I would see it, I would notice it, and it may or may not be relevant at the time. I had gotten good at that. But what I had to make sure that I learned to do was to take that sensitivity level and turn it into a tool and a strategy. And so then as I started to move towards the different principles of emotional intelligence, I started to get these aha moments, as Oprah says, aha. So if I'm feeling fear, let's stop right there. What is that? What is this? Why am I feeling that? And learning how to evaluate myself and my behavior so that I'm not messing myself up. Because usually it's just a couple degrees of thought that's preventing us from having whatever it is in life that we want. We talk on Thursday during manifestation class how to do what I call emotionalization. So as we visualize something, we also put ourselves in the emotional state of how we'll feel when we have that thing that we're thinking about, right? So y'all know I'm working on the home of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. My mind is always chasing the high that I look forward to when it's complete. So if I feel a little worry, if I feel a little fear, I feel a little something creeping up, I go right back to that emotion because that's the high I'm chasing. And I do that on a number of different levels, but I'm always checking myself. Any decision that I make, I'm making sure that it's a decision that I'm making and not responding to something based on my ego, for example. Sometimes some of us become so insecure. I heard Jay-Z talking about this on his interview with Kevin Hart. He said that they will get around other people and try to do exactly what the other person is doing because they want to create the appearance that they're on the same level as that person, not understanding that the way you level up, forget trying to be on the level of that person, but the way you level up is by studying yourself and analyzing your own emotions and seeing what emotions are triggering your behaviors. Okay, I think I see a question. Oh, Sister Anissa said, I'm gonna put this up here. She said, Allah wired me to analyze things. I used to think I overanalyze everything. I see things and I can identify gaps in service in so-called logic. Until recently, I didn't like that about myself. Yeah, the thing about that, though, is there is a such thing as overanalyzing because, for one, we're in an information-based world. There's lots of information. The process of analyzation is a habitual habit that we see on television all the time. All you got to do is turn on the news, and they're constantly analyzing things that either happened in the past, that are happening in the future, that they think they want to happen or that did it. No, it's always analysis. And so you can get into a bad habit of picking up that excessive amount of analysis. So there is a such thing as overanalyzing. And that's what I mean when I say everything that you see, hear, and feel, it either doesn't always have to come out of your mouth, and it doesn't always have to be included in your calculations for your next move. So you don't want to sit there and become paralyzed by the analysis. The idea is to learn and practice using information as needed and having the discernment to be able to tell what's relevant and what's not. See, some people, and you got to make sure the easiest way to work on that is to work on your ego. Because a lot of times we're in situations, we start feeling insecure. We got all this data flowing around in our head, stuff that we know. And so we start trying to figure out, how can I either bring that person down to my level, or how can I make myself appear to be at a better or bigger level than that person? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start spouting out information and just saying shit that's not even relevant. That we have to be careful of. And I'm not saying that that's what you do, sis, but that's difficult. She said, how is that a part of emotional intelligence? It's part of emotional intelligence because you emotionally react. So I'll use myself again as an example. Having access to all this data, being able to see things, having a gift of foresight meant that sometimes I was emotionally reacting either to things that never happened, or I was emotionally reacting to someone else's actions. And then once you emotionally react, now you start making decisions and choices based on that. It happens every day. You may go through a situation where you have a little conflict with somebody, or maybe somebody has a bad day and they say something to you that offends you. And you respond to it. You get upset. You get mad. You might snap on them. You might tell all your friends about it. You know, you really tripping about this. And then maybe a month later, that person corrects themselves. Well, when you've gone so far down that emotional trail, a lot of times you can't even see them in the right light anymore because you now have emotionally identified, you have attached an emotion to their identity. So even if they apologize, even if things seem like it's cool, you're still responding to that emotion. That's what makes emotional intelligence so powerful, is that the emotions make us make decisions. So if you have an emotion of fear and you're thinking, I'm at this event, I should really go over to those people and pass out my card. But if your emotions are saying, girl, you didn't even wear the right clothes today. Your hair ain't even looking right. You start having an emotional reaction to that. What's the emotion? Insecurity, fear of rejection. And then what do? You don't go up to them. You don't say anything. You just decide, I'm not going to go because my hair ain't looking right or I don't feel right. And that is not so much the hair, it's your emotional reaction to your hair or whatever's got you insecure. So that's what we have to work on triggering when we find ourselves having certain behaviors. For example, if you feel yourself talking about something and you're talking about it obsessively all the time, you have to dig back and ask yourself, why am I talking about this? Am I talking about it because I'm trying to talk through it and figure it out? Okay. Am I talking about it because I'm afraid of whatever the answer is going to be? So now I've talked about it so much that I'm now emotionally reacting to the answer that I came up with in my analysis. Got to remember, your brain doesn't really know the difference between reality and make-believe. You make the difference. So if your brain doesn't know the difference, then if you tell your brain, somebody's chasing me, somebody's after me, somebody doesn't like me, they don't care about me, then you become the victim. And now your body, your actions, your choices are based on your status as a victim. But if you're analyzing that situation because you're like, I'm going to be victorious, and you start going in your body and seeing what does it feel like when I'm victorious over this situation. Now you're telling your body, I'm a victor. I'm a victorious person. I'm a winner. And then your choices are based on being a winner. Your decisions are based on being a winner. You will walk like a winner, talk like a winner. You will walk in expectation of that win. And every time you take a step and you don't feel like you're winning, you got that emotional state to take yourself back to, which will bring you back on track. I hope that makes sense, Sister Anissa. So that everything has to do with emotional intelligence. That's the reason why advertisers sit up and spend billions of dollars a year giving you and I information, because on some level, they know that there's an emotional reaction to that information. That's why you have to be careful of what you intake and what you pull into your body. And this is something that continues to happen every time you go to the next level in your life. Now it's time to retweak, reevaluate, and go, all right, next level. Then we go up to another one and we go, all right, next level and next level and next level. So we never get it done. We never get it 100% right. We're always working. We're always moving. We're always going. And we have to be careful how we're analyzing information. Be careful even for yourself how you're sharing information. If it's not necessary for you to share something negative about somebody or something that somebody did, then don't share it. See, slack talk, gossip, slander, that's all a byproduct of emotional intelligence. Because somewhere, somehow, you had some emotional breakdown that made you decide to give up too much information, to slander somebody, to gossip about somebody. Something happened emotionally, whether you felt insecure, whether they made you mad, whether you saw them and they was looking good or you saw them and they was looking bad. Something triggered you that caused you to break those restrictive laws, to tear down the community at that moment. Something happened. It's just natural. So So you got to be careful when that kind of thing comes out of your mouth. You got to be able to catch it, because you're going to make a mistake. You're going to mess up. But you got to be able to go, you know what? Why did I say that? Why did I say that about that person? Matter of fact, why did I even think that about them? What was it? What was it in me? Did something happen to me earlier in the day that made me feel insecure, that she happened to be the next person I saw and she was looking too confident, so I just decided I'm going to go ahead and say something? Why am I not respecting that person's journey? Why am I not allowing that person to grow and develop at their rate? You don't know. I don't know what that person's going through. So do I have a right to talk about them? No. But it's one thing to check yourself and say that, but it's another thing to say, what happened in me that attracted that conversation to me? What happened in me? What conversations was I having with myself? What triggered me that made me want to treat that person in that way? Why didn't I settle on the best part? Why did I go down that road? So those are all things that, we have to work on. And when we start working on those little tweaks, why did I look at that person that way? Why did I handle this way? It can be just something simple as a person walk up to you. Let's say you work somewhere and a person walk up to you and you find yourself in your head talking about them. Oh, no, he didn't get them shoes. Where them shoes come from? Oh my God. Or whatever. Little thing like that. You don't know who that person is. So you treat this person a certain way because of their shoes, when really you could have missed an opportunity. You could have put yourself in danger. You could have missed a safety issue. But once we start spiraling on emotions, I remember growing up, I had an uncle by the name of Uncle Rodney. May Uncle Rodney rest in peace. And Uncle Rodney used to do drugs. But Uncle Rodney was like a funny person that used to do drugs. And he was always making us laugh. And one day we were sitting down talking and he said something that I just never forgot. And I remember when I was going through my emotional intelligence certification, and I thought about what he said. He said, no matter what happens, don't go on the trip. And that stuck with me. And when I started learning how emotional decisions roll into, or emotional states roll into decisions and performances, I said, that's going on the trip. So something happens, I have an emotional reaction to it. I start tripping, I start going on the trip. Next thing you know, I done made a decision and I've impacted my entire business, my entire company, my entire life, because I went on an emotional trip that I didn't necessarily have to go on. Talk to me in the chat if y'all following me and if you have questions, because this is what they call, advanced emotional intelligence, where you are going beyond the basics. Emotional awareness, management, control, empathy. You're going beyond that. And you're checking and tweaking your behavior. And you are not even allowing yourself to go on the trip because, number one, being in that state of gratitude. Gratitude always recenters you. Going back to nature, the created things, that always centers you. But then also having the right conversations with yourself, using prayer, meditation. Those are helpful things as well. She said, I'm understanding emotional intelligence better, thanks. So emotional intelligence is measured by what they call an emotional quotient. It's like your IQ, like your intelligence is measured by your IQ or your intelligence quotient. The thing about EQ is that it can change. It can go up and down. You can have a certain situation and become a 12-year-old emotionally, but then you get another situation and you're this mature, functioning, authentic, abundant, and wealthy person. That's why emotional intelligence requires what I call emotional fitness, where you're always practicing, you're always studying. And because, like I said, 1 minute you can be reacting like a 10-year-old. And then the next minute, you're mature. I've had situations that happened to me that maybe triggered me, and I felt like I was 10. And I had to check myself and go, get it together, because you're not a 10-year-old. And so you don't want to look at this through a 10-year-old eyes. Some people don't understand. They don't even realize that they're going back to that. If you find yourself having certain familiar emotions that you had back when you were a child, you should start analyzing that stuff, because your body doesn't know the difference. Your body really, really doesn't know the difference. That's how it is. See, because your what they say that your IQ stays constant. So once they determine your ability to be intelligent is at a certain level, they say it stays. But the emotions go up and down. And it's the emotions that determine your success, because you could have a low IQ, but a high EQ, and be more successful than somebody who has a genius level IQ. It's great if you have both, but you don't have to have both in order to be tremendously successful. You just have to keep working at it. Could be something that triggers you. You see somebody, you see something. Next thing you know, you're a 5-year-old. You start snapping, you having a temper tantrum, you going off, you getting all upset because you're really responding like your 5-year-old emotional self. And then that's where when I do the individual sessions with you, I start teaching you how to walk yourself down so that you always have a tool that will help you. Right. IQ is static. EQ is dynamic. That's exactly right. So your EQ will always change. Some days you're going to wake up and have an emotional reaction to something that'll embarrass you. I was going through a situation recently where I realized I was responding as like my 22, 23-year-old self. And I started watching the results in the situation mimic the results that I had as a 22 and 23-year-old. And then once I caught it and I changed that and I changed the way I thought and I started emotionalizing, I started seeing the results of certain things turn the corner. So a lot tries us like that. And a lot of people don't like the word trial or struggle or test. And look at it this way. He's always putting us in situations that is going to help us, that's going to help to create the conditions so that he can make himself known through us. And sometimes that comes in the form of a trial or in the form of something that we don't like. That's why we're always working to level up. Remember, Allah came to make himself known. He makes himself known through his created things. And so with our free will, we just might be over here doing something that we're not supposed to do. And we may call it a trial, but he's really trying to get our attention, or he's getting our attention because he says, I have a certain way I want to come through you. So I'm about to redirect you and take you through some things. If you hold on to me, you'll come out on the other side and I'll flow right through you. So think of it that way. And so be mindful. Be careful also when you're working with people, like if it's your children or whatever, be careful with playing God when it comes to emotions. Because a lot of us get confused and we start trying to try people and test people and trying to be some kind of authority figure. You gotta be careful with that. Because at the end of the day, if they fail your test, what are you going to do? 9 times out of 10, You can find other qualifying factors to determine whether or not maybe you're going to hire them or whatever, but be careful. And then if somebody does not pass your test, you got to be prepared to say, what am I going to do? I'm going to put this person through a test. I'm going to play God and I'm going to put this person through a trial. Okay, fine. Put this person through a trial. But what exactly am I going to do if they flunk? Am I going to create a trial for that person as if I'm God that's so big and so cruel that likely they're going to fail? And am I just doing that because I really just want to make myself seem better than them? That's where a lot of our challenges are as African Americans. We're still playing out the emotional role of the slave and the slave master. It's just that in some cases, we put ourselves as the slave master and somebody else as the slave. But a lot of us, we're still playing out those roles where we're trying to get attention. We want somebody to see us. We don't want the next slave to look better to massa than we do because we want the big piece of fried chicken or a bottle of beer. We want to be able to sleep in the big house. And so even though the situations might be different, oftentimes the emotions are the same. So we see our brother or sister and we're over talking and doing all this stuff because we want to look better. We want to look bigger. We want to look like we know more. We want to crush them so that they don't look as big. That's all slave and colonizer thinking. And that's the kind of stuff that we have to work on. And that's the kind of stuff that the study of emotional intelligence will help you with. Because at the end of the day, if you ask yourself, what am I gaining by crushing my brother or sister? Could it be that if I crush them, I'll look better? Possibly, in the eyes of the people around. Could it be that maybe I'll get the piece of chicken or the job and she won't or he won't? Could it be that I'll get access to certain environments and she won't? But the question is, does it make you better in Allah's eyes? Which ultimately means, does it make you better to the God within? That's the question. So there's those kinds of colonizer mindsets that we have to decolonize our minds. I'm always talking when it comes to food about decolonizing our tongues, but we also have to decolonize our minds because we're still acting and reacting and moving either like we're still slaves or like we're the slave master. And that becomes very dangerous. And oftentimes that impedes, our progress. So, all right, y'all, with that, I hope you all got something out of that. I pray you did. I see a couple of you saying, I see Barbara saying, I needed that. I see, she said emotionally fit is her goal. Somebody else said, this is exactly what I need to hear. Right. Don't go on the trip. All praises due to Allah. So thank you all. I'm so grateful that you all got this and we're working on this. And like I said, sometimes you never get it done. Sometimes you just have a bad day where you get up and it seems like nothing went your way that day. And that person that comes in front of you, you take that bad day out on that person. That's not emotionally intelligent. Dial it back and figure out what you can do better and how you can be a better person. What conversations can you have with yourself? Can you say, all right, all of these things didn't go my way, but I'm going to win. And when I win, this is how I'm going to feel. And this is how I'm going to thank Allah. You know what? As a matter of fact, I'm just going to thank Allah right now for this victory. Because at the end of the day, this is all for him. We don't have no life. We don't own nothing. I just read this from the Holy Quran, Surah 62, Al-Jumu'ah, the congregation said, whatever is in the heavens and whatever is in the earth glorifies Allah, the King, the Holy, the Mighty, the Wise. So, all right, with that, family, please make sure you go out and get your commemorative Elijah coins, support the renovation and restoration of the former home of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You know what? I'm going to stop saying the former home of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. This is one of his homes because he's open. He's welcome to come and dwell there anytime he wants. So we're going to support the completion of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House. And we're working on our next upcoming event, which we'll announce to you soon, inshallah. In the meantime, we need your donations. We need your support. Go to sajdahhousedonations.com or go to sajdahhouse.com and get your commemorative Elijah coins. And remember, we don't have that many pendants left. So don't stop DMing me. Don't call me 2 weeks from now and say, is there some pendants left? Because be it the will of Allah, there will not be any pendants left. So click the link in the bio on my social media pages and go to the tab where you can purchase these commemorative coins. Okay. Also, the graded coins are available. We want to sell 1,200 of those this week. I'm putting it out there this week. So help me sell those 1,200. If you can't afford one, contact somebody who can and say, hey, we got to get this house done. Let's get these coins. Let's get them sold. We're going to sell those 1,200 coins, get some donations, and we're going to get through this. Finish line is right there. It's in sight. Okay. Brother Andy said next event. Yep, next event. We're working on it. Abel says, Assalamu alaikum. I just tuned on the title alone inspired me. I needed that. Thank you, sis. All praises due to Allah. Praise be to Allah. I'm so grateful. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for the compliments. Yep, that's right. Looking at the woman in the mirror. So praise be to Allah. Tomorrow night is manifestation class where we're going over the accomplishments of the Muslims. I have been working on a piece on the importance of education in an economic system. Binge on the shows if you have not been listening to our series on the accomplishments of the Muslims. I think you'll find it enjoyable. And so the next one I said I was going to go over with is education. Education is such a heavy topic. I actually worked with a company in Africa that builds cities. And one of the first things they do is establish the educational system. I don't know if I'll be done with it by tomorrow. That's basically what I'm trying to say. So we may just have a Q&A session on the accomplishments of the Muslims. And then that'll give me time to finish up the piece on education. So any questions that you all have about manifestation, about the accomplishments of Muslims, let me know. And we can also go over manifestation tools and techniques, because at the end of the day, we want to be able to take things from being an idea into bringing them into fruition. That's the idea. In business, you're only as good as what you can make happen. And so we have to learn how to make stuff happen. And so we want to talk about those techniques. So anyway, family, thank you all very much. I really appreciate you all listening. And tune in tomorrow. Peace and blessings. And please don't forget, support the project, sajdahhousedonations.com.